All right, welcome to the Short Horror Beer Cast, Sizzle Chest. All right there, fruitcake.
I was not ready for it. What is that, Frank Rizzo?
Frank Rizzo from the Jerky Boys.
Oh my God, I was not ready.
I think it sounded more like Dustin Hoffman's Rizzo.
It was pretty good.
Midnight Cowboy. That Western look is strictly for fags.
Well, that sounded like Saul.
Oh, okay.
A little bit like Saul.
Yeah, that's right. Saul is. Yeah, that's right. What does he say? The hemorrhoids? They're tearing the ass right out of me.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. You've tuned into the Short Horror Beer Cast. And in case you're new here, we're going to introduce ourselves because this is the beginning of season 3 for us. And we figured it's about time we start off the shows like this. In case you're new, I'm Paul Lorello. I'm a fiction writer and a literary horror aficionado. And and I do stupid voices and try to break Alec up. Oh, and by the way, who's the guy who's at the other end of this? Would you like to introduce yourself, young man?
Sure. My name is Alec Chambers, and I'm a visual artist. Yeah, I draw stuff.
Cool.
Yep, I draw things.
My name is Alec, and I draw things. I like that.
Yeah. What is that? What is that? What is that?
That's a thing. I don't know. That is a thing.
Somebody does that.
Yeah.
Oh, I was thinking of my name's Carol Shelby, and I make race cars.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, today we're covering Harlan Ellison's I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. This is a very special story for me because this guy was probably one of my first real writing heroes. He didn't make me want to become a writer. He made me want to stay a writer.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I would say that was the case with him. So this is a great story, and it's a departure because this one isn't really that dark and depressing. It's almost like a Saturday morning cartoon.
It's really, really colorful and fun.
It is. This is the Short Horror Beer Cast. The beer is in the title, so we have beers to go with the story. What do you have to go with? I have no mouth and I must scream.
Well, like I told you, I had read the wrong story.
And that's, full disclosure, that was partially my fault.
No, well, whose ever fault it was, it's hilarious because, it was a great story.
Oh, yeah.
It was another Ellison story, but
yes,
I read the wrong one. So anyway, last night, super late, I'm like, oh shit, I guess I'll read the right one. So I had to rush out and get a beer for this today. Okay. So I came across some things that were like, no. But then finally settled on a limited release from Three Floyds Brewing.
Okay.
Yeah. It came out in May.
Nice.
Yeah, and it's a Saison.
Okay.
And it's called Oceans of Time.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So I thought that
works.
That works.
Yeah.
It took me a minute and I was like, yes, that works. That's fine. That'll be fine.
Nice.
Yeah. 5.8 ABV.
Okay.
And maybe my first Saison.
Oh, okay.
That I know of.
Yeah.
I've never been aware that I was having one before, but it tastes like maybe I've had one before.
Right. It's like very tart, right?
Yeah, it's like a yeast-driven thing that has a dry finish. Apparently, from looking into it, it's rooted in Belgian farmhouse brewing.
Okay.
Which, whatever that means, but that's how it ends up, is like yeast-driven dry finish.
It's like a sour where you're pretty much letting wild yeast do the work. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And the artwork on the bottle is by Connor Nolan.
Okay.
Who I don't know.
No, I
never heard of him.
Okay.
But it's pretty awesome. It's got a bunch of what could be gnomes, what could be Vikings. I don't know. I think they're gnome Vikings because they look exactly like gnomes, but they have fish scale armor.
That's amazing.
And they're out on a ship.
Yeah.
And there's this bizarre, in the old 16th century cartography maps, those monsters in the water.
Oh, yeah, sure.
There's one of those skewering one of the guys, and it's got one of them in its mouth. And they're all scrambling to kill it, and they're running around blowing horns and stuff. It's pretty fucking amazing.
That is amazing.
Artwork. And on the bottle, it says, "It's not normal."
Okay.
And I think from the Three Floyds I've had before, it said that. I think that's their
okay,
copyright.
That's right. Yeah, I remember you. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It says, "Chart a course through liquid horizons with this refreshing Saison."
Nice.
Your easy drinking companion crafted for whatever adventure awaits. That part's pretty corny. I debated even reading that. I really like the "it's not normal" part.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And the verdict is it's very good.
Okay.
It's clean. It's. I think I like Cezanne a lot.
Nice. Okay,
At least I like this one. I'll put it that way.
That's awesome. Great.
That was my pick. What'd you do?
Well, I had to settle because I had a beer all picked out and it was fucking perfect.
Oh,
and
no, what happened?
Yeah, I went to the place and they were completely sold out. They had it on their website, and when I went there...
Did you call him? And he's like, yeah, I got it right here.
No, I didn't. I should have called,
yeah.
but I didn't. I just took a trip there. It was Bronx Brewery, and the beer was called Now Yous Can't Leave.
No way.
I swear to God.
Holy shit.
And I was like, oh, this is it. And I was so happy. I was like, yes, let's go. We're going to the beer place. We're going to pick this up. They didn't have it. And I couldn't burn the place to the ground because Kim was with me. So, so I said, all right, I'm just going to look around. And she found one. It's a completely black can. It's like the Spinal Tap album cover.
Yeah.
And it's by Evil Twin Brewing. And it's called No Hero. And I thought, all right, okay, I can sort of see it, sort of, even though the guy is in our story is the hero at the end, but maybe not.
But is he?
I don't know.
Yeah, but that's a great title.
But here's what I'm rationalizing it with, is that it's an oatmeal stout. The can is black. The beer is nice and dark, and the head is like toffee colored. And so it's just a dark, brooding beer.
I gotcha.
And so I figured, okay, thematically that goes with the story for sure. Mm-hmm. Okay, if
the story
not,
and the author.
Yes, right, exactly. If not the name of the beer, at least the style, the can.
That's good.
There is a screed on the can here. Let me see if I can read it. It says, an alien-like outsider, always flirting with oddity and exploring anxiety and paranoia. A style chameleon, a wonderful labyrinth, and truly a transcendent genius. It's impossible not to idolize out of proportion. This is a stout. It may not be a hero, but it's attractive, clever, and hungry for stardom.
Wow.
So I said it is an oatmeal stout, right? I did say that. An oatmeal stout, or maybe not. But it's an oatmeal stout, 7% ABV. And so that all works. I like that little screed.
I think it's great.
Too.
Yeah.
So that references to labyrinths and alien-like outsiders and anxiety and all stuff like that. That works.
That fits right in.
Right. So
well done.
I think we're all right. Well done rationalizing my having to settle. But
well, that's pretty good thinking outside of it. Like
yes,
the title maybe, but definitely the beer itself was fitting.
Yes.
Yeah, that's really good.
I agree. I'm going to agree with you. It makes me feel better to agree with you.
Good.
So let's say cheers to you.
Cheers, buddy.
And cheers to our fans, all two of them.
Thank you both.
Yes, exactly.
I have a limited audience, but they're an intelligent one.
We're going to talk a little bit about Harlan Ellison. There's a lot to say about Harlan.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to try to keep it concise. There's some stuff.
Do what you have to. He's worth it.
Yes, and this is some stuff I'm going to save till the end. Harlan J. Ellison was born on May 27th, 1934. What did you say about May just then with your beer?
That's when this limited release came out.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so there you go. It fits even better.
See, I knew that. I did know that when I bought it.
Yeah.
Except I did not know that.
You did. So he was born on May 27th, 1934 in the little town of Painesville, Ohio. Painesville.
I've been to Painesville.
Have you now?
Mm-hmm.
And
passing through.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. That's all I got. I just passed through.
Right,
that's it. Yep, been there.
It was like the town of Gilead.
Exactly.
So he had a pretty rough time of it in school. He was very intelligent, but also very small for his age. And he was the only Jewish kid in town as well. Right. And so he was fodder for bullies. And they really did a number on him. He also was incredibly combative. He really put up a fight. And it never really did him any good because he was just like this little thing and the perfect little scapegoat in his town. So by all accounts, too, he had a pretty big mouth. So he was,
doesn't matter.
Quote unquote asked for it,
Was he picked on because he was small or because he was Jewish?
Both. Yeah.
See,
yes. No, I know. Yeah. And
there's no
and like I
good
said,
reason to pick on a kid, but
right. Exactly.
one's worse than the other one.
No, sure. Absolutely. So, so he had a rough time of it. Now, the story about his height, apparently this was due to a medical intervention early on. He supposedly had some kind of hormonal injections or something when he was a baby or very, very young to treat something or other. Maybe it was to treat his growth or something like that, but it wound up stunting his growth, apparently. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Details on this are a bit sketchy, as are most details in the life of Harlan J. Ellison. Okay. That's primarily due to the fact that much of what we know about the man comes from the man himself. He was a born storyteller, and he often gave very colorful accounts of events in his life. Okay. So a lot of times he was embellishing or sometimes changing some details very slightly. Most of the time, the essence of the stories were there. The truth was there. He just, depending on when you heard these stories, they sometimes changed. And a lot of these stories you would think were not true, but they've been corroborated by third-party sources, most of them. Most of the crazy ones have been corroborated.
Yeah.
For now, I'd like to try and distill the essence of Harlan Ellison as a writer. Okay. Yeah. So this is going to be, I'm going to explain this in a little bit of a roundabout way. All right. So Kurt Vonnegut once said that any film made of one of Ernest Hemingway's stories would always be short one character, and that was Hemingway himself. Vonnegut used to say, if you're going to make a movie about an Ernest Hemingway story, and he was kind of joking, but the point he was making was like, oh, you should put like a little cutout of Hemingway's face in the corner of every single scene. You know, it's just so you know this is the Hemingway story, because when you're reading Hemingway, you're just reading Hemingway himself, okay? That's how I feel about Ellison. When you're reading Ellison, you're reading the man. And, you know, when he writes about a serial killer, it's not that Harlan Ellison himself is a serial killer. It's just the fact that, you know, he it's his word choices, it's his style. He's really incredible, a very larger than life style. And that's how he was as a person. So there's a quote often attributed to Hemingway, actually. Turns out he never said it. Somebody else said this, but it goes something like this. Writing is easy. All you have to do is sit down at the typewriter and open a vein. Right? And so that quote isn't attributable to Hemingway, but the sentiment definitely is. And the sentiment applies tenfold to Harlan Ellison.
Yeah.
So his style can often be grating. It can be histrionic. It can be gentle, caring, sometimes all in the same story. Okay. But whatever it is, it's always incredibly emotional. And there's almost always a hint of anger in there somewhere.
Yeah.
That was Ellison, the man. He was grating. He was histrionic. He was gentle. He was caring. He was generous, you know, apparently. And he was almost always angry. He had a bespoke ethical and moral compass. I'll talk more about that. I'll give examples of that later on. He was a larger than life personality, full of more energy than everyone in the room combined. Anytime. I've witnessed this firsthand, having seen him at cons. And
cool.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like when he entered the room, this guy was 5'5", and he entered the room and it was like a giant had entered.
Yeah.
Like it was just, you felt the energy in the room when he walked in.
That's outstanding.
It is outstanding.
I love that.
It is. It's incredible. He was quick-witted, acid-tongued, fearless, and we can find all of that in his work. This is what I mean by reading the man himself. Now, a little bit more here. If Ray Bradbury was the writing craft's best salesman, Harlan Ellison was its best attorney. Okay, he talked about writing as both the noblest of chores and as something akin to like a blue collar skill that you had to develop by just hands-on practice.
Excellent, Paul. That's so good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So throughout the 70s and 80s, he would perform these public stunts. He'd stage events at bookstores. He'd have the bookstore owner or sometimes a celebrity hand him a sealed envelope. And inside was a phrase or a title that the person had come up with. And Ellison would read it aloud. He'd, make a big show of opening the envelope, reading this thing aloud, and then climb into the bookstore window where he had a little desk and a typewriter set up. And he'd proceed to write the story based on the little prompt that was sealed up in the envelope.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And so every time he finished a page, they'd take it and they'd paste it onto the bookstore window so the passersby can read the story in progress. So aside from being like this incredible old school show business stunt,
Yeah.
it also served to demonstrate that there was nothing magical about the creative process. You just sit down and open a vein. So I think I'm going to stop it there. I think that's enough of a capsule portrait of what we're dealing with when we read this story. This is the guy who wrote it. And we're going to get into his personality in a little more depth and give examples about what I'm talking about here.
You've got a much bigger handle on him than I have. I'm newer to him. After Dan Simmons talked about how his start was hugely attributed to Harlan Ellison.
Sure.
I did start reading it then. Like I read Shatterday and stories in there, and they were great. They lit me up. I mean, Flop Sweat I thought was amazing.
Yeah.
Which, we did consider doing for the show, but just there's better.
Yeah.
Of Ellison's that are better.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely.
Right. The only thing that I discovered after reading it and kind of looking into him a bit is how worked over he'd been in the business.
Yes.
Like people stealing from him and taking credit for shit he wrote and awful things like that. Like he had to be an asshole after that just to deal with these people.
Yeah.
Just to, like people stealing your work, there's nothing worse.
No, that's true.
Especially the way you put it, you open a vein.
Right.
Someone takes it. It's like, what?
Yeah.
The fuck?
Yeah, and he was very litigious, especially in the later half of his life, the latter half of his life, I should say. Extremely litigious and seemed to be suing everybody, but it was justified in
Back
most
to
of
Saul. Sue who? Sue everybody.
Sue everybody.
Oh my God.
I'll sue you.
I'm sorry.
No. So
ignore that.
He's got a Gatling gun.
He's got a He's got a boot with a foot in it. An old dried out foot.
Right. He's a fool. He's a wartime hero fool.
Do you have wild bird seed? Anyway, all right.
I'm sorry.
There's people on the other end of this.
Yeah,
there's people out there.
Oh, that's
have you
right.
ever
My
heard
God.
Gabriel do that to Phil live?
Oh, no, wait a minute.
They're shooting the shit or something, or Phil plays something wrong, and he's like, hey, there's people out there. Because the whole crowd's staring at him like, the fuck are you doing?
That's hilarious.
Anyway, yeah.
Faster, Phil.
Yeah. There's people out there. Where the fuck were we?
Holy my God, I don't even know.
Cezanne's got me all
fucked up. All right, so you were saying, how litigious.
Yes.
We were talking about how litigious he was. Interesting fact. I don't know if you know about this, about the Terminator lawsuit.
Oh, kind of. Yeah.
He wrote 2 stories for the old Outer Limits show. One was Demon with a Glass Hand, and the other was Soldier. And they both dealt with people coming back from the future to stop something happening. The Terminator bore a lot of resemblance to those stories.
Right.
And so he won a lawsuit. And at the end of the Terminator, any prints that were printed after that lawsuit had a disclaimer on them saying, with acknowledgments to the works of Harlan Ellison.
Okay.
So you can see that at the end of the Terminator.
Wow.
Yeah. So he went through great lengths to try to protect his works.
As he should. That shit makes me mental.
It should. Yeah. Me too.
It must be a weird struggle for someone who reads the stuff and goes, this is the greatest thing I've ever read. I'm going to do something like this, or this. I'm going to say this is mine. Yeah. And also know he's the greatest protector of his work there is, and he will come after me no matter what. I'm still going to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to be out of your tree.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing?
Right.
He's going to just attack you.
I get squeamish in these podcasts when I'm quoting at length and stuff like that. We can get around it because we're critiquing and and it's a lot of it is humor based and stuff like that. But still, it does make me squeamish. And he's, he opened my eyes to that.
I said, we got to go to the wall because money's what they give you to keep your mouth shut. And I said, writers have got to know that they can fight them. And we did, and we beat them. And now I'm putting up the billboards in Hollywood.
What is the billboard going to say? I quoted something, but you tell me in your words.
Well, I have to clear this with my attorney so that they're out to get. They said, we're going to nail you. They said, you're going to make a misstep and we're going to nail you. So I got to be careful what I say. But it will say words to the effect of, I caught them with their hands in my pocket and we pinned them to the wall. Writers take heart. Don't let them steal from you.
I discovered him in my early 20s as an angry young man.
Right.
I really gravitated to this angry man, his writing, it was just like speaking directly to me. And we were speaking before we started rolling here. We were speaking about our artistic influences and how you had made a comment, something like, man, I didn't realize you could do this when I when I discovered this artist, I didn't realize you could do that.
Yeah.
And that was definitely my experience with Ellison. I was like, I didn't know that you could like write like this, that you could take your spleen out and throw it on the page. I just, it's like, wow, it's just, it never occurred to me,
Yeah. I've seen him in interviews saying people come up to me and they want to talk about this and that in my writing. And I'm like, no, do it yourself, put in the time.
Yeah.
Don't ask me all these questions. I don't owe you anything. I'm a writer.
Right.
I don't owe you this shit. And people are like, what a dick. Yeah. And he's not. He's right.
That's true. Yeah, he's absolutely right.
You need to be told. I mean, I needed to be told that a few times because, when you're younger and into this, you're kind of a fanboy.
Yeah.
That's lame. You got to do the work.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to figure out your own voice and stuff. But, and he'd be like, look, man, if you can't handle that, don't start writing either. You can't handle that either.
J. Michael Straczynski, who was his right-hand man, he talks about when he was a kid, he called Harlan. He got his phone number somehow and called him up. And Harlan answered, yeah. That's always how he always answered the phone. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And he was like this nervous little kid. He's like, is this Harlan Ellison? And he's like, yeah, what is it? And he said, well, I'm a writer and my stuff isn't selling and I don't know how to get it to sell. And he goes, and Ellison said to him this, all right, I don't have a lot of time. I want you to listen up. Here's why your stuff isn't selling. It's crap. Okay? Stop writing crap and your stuff will sell. All right? Let me tell you, it is the funniest story, but there's no better advice for a young artist than to hear that.
Yeah.
Don't make crap.
Yeah, to be coddled doesn't work. It doesn't fucking work. So everyone's like, oh, it's still pretty good. Yeah, right. You're doing great. Just keep going. You're doing real good. Fuck that.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be tough on some people who don't like to be yelled at, maybe.
or who don't like to take a second look at their stuff and say, well, you know what? You're right. This does suck.
Right. Because you need to be told. I needed to be told when I was writing, like, look, man, there's more of the craft to learn, I think.
Well, yeah.
You got some little parts here, but
yeah.
You're an enthusiastic reader who started writing. That's what it reads like. I was like, ooh, that's true.
And honestly, there's nothing wrong with that. It's keeping it up.
Getting those muscles, yeah.
Being a writer is not hard. Staying a writer is.
Agreed.
Yeah, that's it. But
nice. Yeah. I love Ellison's approach, though. Just fucking don't write garbage. Just write good shit and don't call me again.
Right. Exactly.
Fuck off, kid. Jesus, I'm trying to write a book.
What is the problem with America?
The problem with America is real simple, Tom. It's not that we got too much violence or that we've got too many drugs or that our people are basically bone, stick, stone, stupid or anything. It's we don't hold a grudge long enough. Everybody who went by that guy's coffin, they went out, out there. Richard. Okay. I'd like to drive a stake through his heart.
Let's talk about I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. I'll get to the genesis of that amazing title in a second.
Yeah.
The story was first published in the March 1967 issue of If magazine. It was edited by Frederick Pohl. The title was actually a caption created by the artist William Rotzler for a little drawing he did of a rag doll with no mouth. Okay, that was it. And Ellison saw it and loved the caption and said, that's just a great title for a story.
That's awesome.
I've seen this picture, actually. I found it online. It's pretty damn creepy.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream has been anthologized countless times. It's always appearing in great science fiction collections and stuff like that. And just like, what was the other story we covered where I was like, it's technically science fiction, but Dance of the Dead by Richard Matheson. It's technically science fiction, but it's for sure it's a horror story. And I feel that way about this one too.
Yeah.
Definitely, it falls into science fiction, but hell, it is a horror story.
Mm-hmm.
And it won the 1968 Hugo Award for Best Short Story. I think that's about it.
It's worth digging into, though. It's worth, the time because
hell yeah,
he's the guy.
He is.
He was the guy.
Absolutely. So let's get into it.
Anybody can learn writing. I mean, really, writing is not that hard. I mean, if you look at the crap that Judith Krantz writes, you know that anything can write. What? I'm supposed to sit here and lie and say Judith Krantz is a great writer?
Well, I mean, but why would you have to just bring up Judith Krantz?
All right, I got others.
No.
How many do you want?
No.
How many do you want? I'll give you a list. No, I mean, you look at the stuff that woman writes. You know that paramecium could write. Things that live in a petri dish could write. No, she's not a woman. Is not a writer. She's a creative typist. What a hell of a dresser. The woman can dress like crazy. Look, I take writing very seriously.
I know you do.
And I think people who patchki around with it ought to have their fingers broken, slam them in a piano.
Right.
We're going to open once again with the first line of the story. It's one of the great first lines of any story.
Mm-hmm.
Limp, the body of Gorister hung from the pink pallet, unsupported, hanging high above us in the computer chamber. And that's it, we're off. It turns out that what we're actually seeing is an illusion. Gorister is one of the 5 people trapped in the belly of an Earth-sized computer network. And this computer has gained sentience and has killed off all of humanity. But it's kept these 5 people alive to torture for eternity. Gorister is one of them, and he's looking up at his own dead body hanging upside down from a pallet with his throat slit. Showing this to the group is the computer's idea of fun. So Gorister walks away in shock, and the rest follow him and find him with his head in his hands. He says, why doesn't it just do us in already? He says he doesn't know how much longer he can go on. The narrator tells us that it's their 109th year inside the computer, trapped there. Yeah. And we find out later on that the computer has altered them in such a way that they're virtually immortal, but they can still feel pain. Okay, so this thing is just basically keeping these people alive and torturing them. And that's
nice.
That. Yeah, it's very pleasant. Now we're introduced to the rest of the party. We have Nimdok, okay, which isn't his real name. It's the name the computer has forced him to use because, as the narrator says, it likes to amuse itself with strange sounds. Then there's Benny, Ellen, and our narrator, Ted. The story's written in the first person, so we don't hear the name Ted too often, but that's his name.
Yeah.
And we find out the computer's name is AM, A-M. I was thinking I should call it M, or I should probably just call it AM. I think I'm going to call it AM.
Okay.
So Nimdok has gotten it into his head that there are canned goods in what Ted calls the ice caverns. They haven't eaten in 3 days, and Ted tells him, forget about this idea, it's just a trick of AM's. He says they'll get there and the stuff will be putrefied or completely inedible. He says, like the frozen elephant that AM sold them. Okay? But Ellen persuades Ted that they ought to make a go for it. And Ted can't resist Ellen. He says Ellen has, quote, taken him twice out of turn. And he says, not that that makes much of a difference. She never climaxes. and then he adds that every time they do it, they can hear AM giggling somewhere around them. Yeah. They leave for the ice caverns on a Thursday. He says that time doesn't matter to them, but it matters to AM. Makes sense when you're keeping people alive to torture them. You should have a good sense of time.
Right.
So that's where we are. That's the setup for this whole thing. It's a pretty horrific scenario. In my opinion, it does make you want to read more, I would say, having gotten us a little bit of information.
It's so unlike anything else that I'd read. And initially, if I wasn't doing the show and I was just on my own reading stuff, I might be a little on the fence.
Okay.
Because it's so weird.
It is weird, for sure.
This omnipotent thing, like playing with ants in a magnifying glass, whatever.
Yes, right.
Isn't my very favorite trope, I guess.
Okay.
But it is in this. And I'll leave it at that.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, this one changed. I liked it a lot.
I get that. I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So it's about 100 miles to the ice caverns, and Nimdok and Gorister are carrying Ellen, with Ted and Benny walking in front and behind. They have to keep Ellen safe because we won't want anything to happen to Ellen. She's very, very important to these 4 men. Later on, I say this is a 1967 alert.
Yep.
Ellison was kind of a feminist and was very pro women's rights and stuff like that. And he was accused of being a misogynist for passages like what we find in this story. I think there's a good logic behind it all, though.
I don't agree with accusing him of that. This is a story.
Right.
That doesn't mean he's that way. We already went over this.
Right. Well, we did. But to talk about the morality within a story is important. Okay. So you can see there doesn't seem to be morality of that sort in the story. In the universe that this story is written, nobody has this. And the character of the story itself seems to be amoral. Okay.
Yeah.
If I can be so bold. But I think that is Ellison's point. What he's saying is that this kind of a situation rots away your morality.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's why people behave like this. Okay. Because
absolutely.
Yeah. Because he's got the hero talking about Ellen this way. And you're like, wait, I'm supposed to identify with the hero. I don't understand. Why is he talking like this? And why is nobody pushing back? And if AM is the villain and this guy who's supposed to be the hero is talking this way, who am I supposed to root for? Well, you're supposed to root for humanity in general.
Yeah.
Before something like this happens, because we don't want to see this happen.
That's understood, but I guess what's bothering me is if people accused him of being misogynistic because of this story.
Right.
They did it before they finished the story or something.
Well, sure. Or, if they're not thinking too much about it and thinking like there's a message inside this story. Put it this way. I don't like torture porn films. I don't like Saw and Hostel. Yeah. And it's because I feel as though Eli Roth is making us into voyeurs. And tapping into what he thinks we secretly want to see. So a story like that doesn't really have any morality to it. All it's saying is that humanity sucks and here you go. And you suck too watching this.
Yeah.
A story like this says that yes, this sucks, maybe humanity sucks, but humanity is worth preserving. And here's what happens to us when we are up against a force that will attempt to take away your will and keep you a prisoner in some form. It is a metaphor for what happens in totalitarian societies and stuff like that, So there is a morality that you can pick out of this story. The story itself doesn't have morality in it because he's trying to make that point, I guess. I don't know if I'm making any sense. The beer is talking.
No, it makes perfect sense.
Okay.
Because I'll forget, I'm totally derailing the show here, but
go for it. For
you, the scariest film you've seen.
Oh, shit.
For you.
I would have to say The Exorcist. Because when I was a kid, I was playing outside when my brother was washing his car. I was playing in the bucket. Okay. I was probably, I don't know, 4 or 5 years old. And I turned my hand over and there was a spider on my hand. Yeah. And the spider was probably the size of a dime. Okay. But on my tiny little hand, it looked like it was splayed across. Right.
Yeah.
And so I freaked out. Okay. When I look at my hand now, my bigger adult hand, I can still see the spider's blade across it. So the fear grew with me.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. And so that's how I feel about The Exorcist. I was younger, not very young, but I was younger when I saw it. And it just grows with you, when you're impressed by something like a horror film. It impresses you and it grows with you for sure.
Yeah.
I've talked about Salem's Lot too. That scene with Mrs. Glick coming to life on the mortuary slab. Oh, that just fucking terrified me as a kid. I was 9 years old when I saw that. And my 9-year-old self trembles every time I see that movie.
Yeah. Did that affect you more than the kid scratching at the window?
Yeah, I think so. But that was still fucking scary too.
That got me. I'm like, oh my God.
Oh, yeah. The whole movie's fucking amazing.
Yeah. The Exorcist is, in my mind, the correct answer because, it's different for everyone, but if it's not The Exorcist, you're fucking wrong. Because that's the scariest goddamn thing ever made.
Yeah. Agreed.
When you have an innocent child being affected this way.
Yeah.
That's enough right there. But they went all out.
They went all out and it
made it horrifying with the audio.
Yeah, it's a
visuals. It just was like, what am I watching? I feel awful. I felt horrible watching it. I mean, I felt sick. I felt scared. I mean, when I was a kid. I mean, not like last night when I watched it.
Right.
I mean, yes, I did. I felt scared again.
Yeah, you're right.
But
of course.
Yeah, it's got to be the scariest thing ever made as far as a film in my mind, and I'm really glad you named that one.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Because it's really that.
Reverend Donald Wildman. Who knows what is best for us to see on television and who knows about all of this satanic corruption. This man is exposed to this material 24 hours a day. He looks at this crap constantly. He looks at the girly magazines. He looks at comic books that are filled with Satanism. He listens to records that are played backward and make no sense except to him. And somehow the Reverend Donald Wildman is not corrupted. Now, does this mean that he is better than all the rest of us poor slobs? That if we look at this, we will certainly go to hell immediately? No, what it means is that he is full of caca. He is full of horse pucky, and if people would stand up to fools like him and Phyllis Schlafly and all of the rest of these goddamn censors, we would find a much better condition of life for all of us. Not to be too perforce about it.
Okay, on their second day of the journey, AM sends them some manna. This is right out of the Bible. God sends Moses and crew bread from heaven.
Yep.
So this is an inversion of that. Ted says it tasted like boiled boar urine.
Nice.
Prompting the question, how would you know?
Yeah. I wonder what that tastes like.
On the third day, they pass through the Valley of Obsolescence, and this is a huge complex of rusty and deserted computer banks. Ted says that back in the day, AM had been as ruthless with his own kind as he was with humanity, all in an effort to obtain perfection, killing off his own weaker elements. So there's light from above, and they realize they're probably near the surface of the Earth. This is an underground network, after all, and suddenly they hear Ellen screaming Benny's name, because Benny's decided to make a go for it. Benny's going to escape.
Mm-hmm.
He starts climbing up computer banks and stuff like that, and we get a little more of an intriguing description that hints at the backstory here. Ted describes Benny's face as monkey-like, and he notes that the radiation scars AM had given him during, quote, the festival, end quote.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, God knows what happened. And
oh my God.
I love stuff like that because it's never mentioned again.
Yeah.
So it's like, boy, what the hell was the festival, and why was there radiation burns?
It's great because he throws a seed in your mind, and it just grows and grows into this whatever you make it into.
Yes.
Whatever the festival is going to be.
Exactly.
It's great.
So now Benny's trying to escape. That's not good. They can think anything they want about AM, and they can call him names and curse him, but AM will not tolerate any attempt to escape. So Benny is scrambling up the side of the memory cube, and then he squats on it, quote, looking like the chimpanzee AM had meant for him to resemble, end quote.
Mm-hmm.
Now Ellen is frantic. Ellen is screaming for Ted to do something, but no one wants to be near Benny when whatever is going to happen happens to him. And there's another reason why they don't want to help Benny. They can see through Ellen's concern for him. Ted says when AM had altered Benny, it's not just his face. He may look like a giant ape's.
Cock.
So yeah. He's got a big old bonzo dick down there.
Yeah. Blessed him.
Big old Harambe dick.
Yeah, he cursed him and blessed him at the same time.
Exactly. So Ted tells us Ellen services all of them out of obligation, but she actually likes it from Benny.
Oh, boy.
So Ellen is hysterical. Like,
she's like, no, don't, no.
Not Benny. And so Ted's internal monologue gives us an unnecessarily vicious tirade against Ellen.
Yeah.
I think it's like, he's like, what a bitch, what a slut, the whole thing. He's just going off on Ellen because it's just making him sick. This is what I was talking about before, how it's the moral rot here in this environment. It just strips away your humanity.
There's a quote from a Tony Banks song: put back our bites from the apple of the tree of knowledge and be like the beasts again.
Oh, okay.
Right, like that.
Yeah.
Where you don't have all your learned morals, everything else, the things that make you a good human.
Yeah.
You just have your base level.
Right. Interesting.
And you're knocked right down to that.
Yeah, so we can really go off on a tangent on that subject. That's great. So that said, Gorister slaps Ellen because she's hysterical. Yeah, that's what you did back then. You gave him a slap and they shut up.
Yeah, nice.
She slumps down and Gorister kicks her in the side. But not before Ted tells us that crying is Ellen's big defense, that they've all gotten used to it 75 years ago. So again, this is the moral rot, okay? Yeah. This reminds me of, there used to be a radio show host called Randy Rhodes. She was a woman, and she called herself Randy Rhodes. And I think that may have been her real name. She had served in the military. And this is right around the time the Abu Ghraib thing. Abu Ghraib, I don't know how to pronounce it, but yeah, that whole thing blew up.
Yeah, awful.
And she was obviously condemning it, but she said in the same breath, you should expect things like that to happen in war. War makes people crazy.
Yeah. I just had this conversation with Jen. We were watching Full Metal Jacket.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
And you just watch people just deteriorate.
Yeah.
Into the people that they have to be soldiers.
Don't you love when he shoots the girl at the end?
That's what I'm referring to.
And when his arm comes over, it covers up his peace sign for the viewer.
Oh, I did not know that. That's outstanding. Is that right?
All you can see is Born to Kill. And then after he shoots her, his arm comes back again and you can see the peace sign again. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know how many times I've seen that movie.
Yeah.
I never saw that.
One of those things that like I happened to notice one day. I was like, oh my God, that's amazing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Was that intentional, you think?
I'm sure it was.
It had to have been, right?
Kubrick was a fucking
Oh, yeah. He was pretty good. He was pretty good at what he did. He was considered pretty talented.
You're right. No, yeah.
He wasn't bad.
Yeah, he wasn't. I like this kid. This kid's gonna go somewhere.
Yeah. He's all right, this one. But
he's like the details this guy was like obsessive with, so he had to have noticed that.
It must be. I was slow. I didn't see it. That's really something. I think I was staring at Matthew Modine's face the whole time.
Yeah, right.
Because you could see just the life he was done. He became a killing thing.
Yeah, right.
That was it. The humanity poured out and with that shot.
Yeah.
That was it.
Absolutely.
It was great.
Absolutely. Yeah, it is great.
Have you ever seen Lone Survivor?
No, I haven't.
They show this montage at the beginning of guys training to be Navy SEALs. And you don't have to lose your humanity to be a SEAL. I'm not saying that.
Right, yeah.
But you have to have a hard coating on the outside.
Yeah, yeah.
And you have to leave a lot of stuff out of your life from then on. You have to.
Sure.
It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Those guys are amazing.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, absolutely.
Holy shit. So anyway, it was one of those things we were talking about, letting go of your self to be something else. Whether you want to or not, you're gonna. It's really a crazy concept.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah.
I'm too soft on that. I got a mushy center. I can't do that.
Chewy nougat center.
Yeah, I got nougat. Yep.
I got nougat. Anyway, so we digress.
We always do.
Yes, we. Oh, that's right. We do, don't we? It's our thing. It's our thing. We digress.
Yep.
The show is like 90% digression and 10% show, which is fine. Fine with me. It's fine with me.
It seems to be. And it's really putting a burden on our editor, Mr.
I forgot to take my medication this morning, and now I can't do anything.
No, I was thinking Sid Seizure.
Sid Seizure. That's right. No, the producer is Sid Seizure.
Yeah, I thought maybe Sid did a hand in the editing sometimes when the producer got bleary-eyed.
No.
Because Paul's been doing the lion's share of the editing lately because...
Just the last 2 episodes. And
it's a lot of work, man.
No, yeah. It's only eating away my soul. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
See, we're opening a vein for you people.
No, yeah, exactly. 100%.
Oh my God.
All right, so where were we? Okay, so Benny is escaping, and AM finally punishes him. 2 beams of light accompanied by sound shoot out of both Benny's eye sockets. The light gets brighter and the sound intensifies at the same time. Ellison says the sound crawled up and up some incomprehensible scale. Benny is obviously in abject pain. He falls, he hits the ground, and the light and sound just die away. But Benny is now blind. His eyes are completely fucked up. And the 3 men turn away, but not before they catch a glimpse of Ellen's relieved face. Oh, good. Just his eyes. Good.
Oh, yeah.
Glad AM didn't shoot him in the dick.
Still got his cock. Oh, my God.
So...
I like you typed, oy vey.
Right.
It's good.
Yep. All right. I'm not gonna start making jokes about Benny's cock.
No, we're good now. We're good.
Benny and his cock. All right. So we break. Oh, by the way, so I said we break now, and there are breaks throughout the story. This is in the actual story as published. Ellison inserted a graphic as the paragraph break, section break, excuse me.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's made to resemble old computer punch cards.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's actual punch card language, whatever they call that. What the deal is, but
yeah.
But it actually says something. It's the computer code for I think, therefore I am.
Mm-hmm.
And cogito ergo sum. I think, therefore I am in Latin. A cool little Easter egg for anybody who's reading the story.
It's really cool. I did not know that it was an actual punch card code. Yeah. I thought it was just,
When I first read it, I thought it was just a random thing. Okay, it looks like an old computer thing. Cool. Mm-hmm. But no, it's an actual message.
That's pretty slick, man.
Yeah. It's like YYZ, the about that? The Rush is YYZ.
Oh, I was going to say I only know the Rush song.
The rhythm is actually Morse code for YYZ.
Oh, that's Morse code?
It's actually Morse code for YYZ. Isn't that amazing?
That's pretty cool. That's pretty interesting. That's pretty nerdy interesting. Really.
Yeah.
I've listened to that, since I was a kid. I did not know that.
Yeah. And that's another thing. I only found that out recently.
And now that I hear it, all I hear is the Morse code tapping. That's funny. Wow. Pretty cool.
Isn't that neat?
Clever.
Who would have thought Rush could be nerdy?
Yeah, that's weird.
Reincarnation.
What about it?
Possible?
If I come back, I'm coming back as Pittsburgh. I think big. Pittsburgh is okay.
Yeah.
You look a little worried about this conversation.
Not at all. I love a conversation like this.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's crazed, you know that.
Attention, listeners. It's Alec. Sorry for the abrupt ending, but Paul and I got a bit too talky in this episode and decided it's probably best to chop it up into a two-parter. The good news is Paul used a very sharp cleaver to do this, which I myself have meticulously washed and disposed of, so there will be no evidence of this violent and sudden horror. We cover our tracks around here, and we always look out for our faithful listeners, both of you. So go on with your day and don't worry about a thing. We've got you. We two criminal masterminds will alert you of the next installment of the Short Horror Beercast via telex, directions scribbled on a paper airplane, or I will send a raven with information on how and where to proceed. Until then, stay vigilant and keep your eyes skinned for word on episode 2 of Harlan Ellison's I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Disclaimer: Paul is not a fan of Game of Thrones in any iteration, nor does he have any plans or desire to watch the series at any time in the foreseeable future, so my raven reference will likely have either flown right over his head or annoyed him utterly.
I've written a lot of books. I got 62 books. Yeah, right. So there's invariably one dude in the line. He's always got the strabismic eyes. He looks like, one eye is going this way, the other one's that way. And he's got a box. And he's got, the box is from 1912, and he's got 114 of my books. And behind him is always a pale, weazened woman carrying another 30 and say, the wife. He's schlepping the poor wife. She'd like to be at home, washing the clothes, but instead she's been dragged by this monomaniac to a place, to get signed books. And behind her is usually a rickets-laden child who's got about 12 or 13. And he's brought the whole damn family and buys one damn paperback. He says, here, sign all 1,400 of them. And I say, no, I don't think so. And he says, sign them. I says, no. He says, well, I bought your book. I says, that's what you get.
Yeah, you get my book.
You get a book. Yeah, that's what you pay for. I said, I give you the signature out of the kindness of my heart, you maniac.